don't know if I should wear these. Everybody here? You know, I invited Ferdy, I don't know. You won't cover, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Can you lock that? Lock that door, please. Good afternoon. First, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon, this simple press conference. And I know you folks have been busy also covering the after election coverages and getting interviews from the different candidates. Both in gubernatorial, I don't know if you guys have talked to any of the legislative candidates, but be that as it may, you know, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Boss?
Yeah, thank you very much also for, being with us this afternoon. I know you guys have been very busy all day, but we appreciate you guys being here with us this afternoon to share our piece also.
Maybe can we start off with, what are your thoughts for, this upcoming runoff election?
Let me just make a statement because this is the first time I'm gonna, if that's okay. First off, we want to extend our appreciation and gratitude to all the supporters for the support, the help, and the hard work of the committee, and even people that joined our team from the beginning, for all the hard work that they have put up to bring us to these states. As you well know, we made it to the runoff, and the runoff is going to be very challenging because it's going to be just a little over 2 weeks span and sprint. So we're getting ready fairly fast here, having discussions with the winning candidates under the 80 banners and putting together a ground game plan for the runoff. So we're very excited. Albeit it's a lot of hard work, but we're good to go. We're going at it already.
I also want to say thank you to all our supporters in Saipan, Rodan, Tinian, and Northern Ireland, and especially those that have took their time to apply and submit their absentee ballot. I know there's a lot of issues that they're still pending. As far as the absentee ballot is concerned, a lot of questions and that needs to be answered. So, I don't know how they came about with who's a resident of the CNMI and who can vote actually. So those are the things that we need to take a look at in the future. Because I believe that if you're a registered voter and you're a citizen of the Commonwealth, you should be given the privilege to vote regardless. So again, I would say thank you to all our supporters, and I would like to encourage our people to take a look at our position or where we stand, and we'll continue to ask for your support for this upcoming another election. So the runoff. Appreciate that. We have put out our where we stand on our agendas, our platform. So we continue to stand with the platform, be rebuilding trust, and that's our commitment to our people in the Commonwealth.
All right, LT, I just had 2 questions. First, we saw the photo of your meeting with Tina and Layla. Can you tell us what transpired there, and is the coalition solid to move forward?
Let me answer the second question first. The coalition is solid. As you well know, Tina in their press conference made a commitment to support us. And so we had a very nice conversation, discussions over coffee, and we want to thank them and their the Democratic Party for their support, showing their support to us. Our discussion basically is where are the common denominators and what kind of programs and policies that they would like to see us move forward. Because there are, of course, folks in their camps that are wanting to be assured that we will take a look at, and not just take a look at, but be open to implementing some of the programs and the policies that's in their platform. And that's not a problem at all for us, because, you know, albeit our platforms are probably written differently, they're basically the same platforms, and that's good governance, efficient government, integrity in all the departments, and following the rule of law. So there's not a lot of difference. It's just the dressing may be different, but I think the fundamental issues are basically the same. So, you know, we had a very productive conversation and discussion with both Tina and Leila, and they brought up some good ideas in terms of health insurance, and even in terms of how to run departments and what we need to do, and evaluating and assessing where we're at, whether it's economic issues, the economy, the fiscal integrity of our government, the fiscal situation that we're in right now, and or how to move forward, knowing that there's this looming fiscal cliff that we're going to be facing post ARPA. What are we going to do, and how are we going to do it? Because there are temporary employees that have been employed by our governor in the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months ago, that post ARPA, those fundings are going to be gone. So what are we going to do about it, and how are we going to address that? And one of the concerns is that we need to be very compassionate. We need to be make sure that we have a transition plan for people. That's the reality of the situation that we're going to be looking at, and those are the type of discussions that we had.
And just a quick follow-up before passing it on. I do want to ask, just a few minutes ago, the GOP, Torres Sablon, had their press conference. I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to all of it or a portion of it. He had some harsh criticism of you, perhaps expected in this narrow race. He talked about his obligation until January as governor, no matter who wins the runoff. That obligation also falls squarely on your shoulders. You're still the sitting lieutenant governor. Mm-hmm. I'm going to paraphrase here and make it really short. He basically said that you've been absent from the seat of lieutenant governor, and that I believe he even used the word hiding from some of the COVID sites, he said. Can you just respond directly to Governor Torres as your sitting capacity currently?
Let me be very, very frank, because I've been very patient and been very, very civil. Because those questions have been asked, and to me, those statements are real childish. Really childish and almost sophomoric, juvenile nonsense. You know, the fact of the matter is that what does it take for me to be present in any of these post-disaster situations? I've been out there, just like he was, and I've pointed this out. I don't carry around, or I don't drag around a press corps with me to take pictures of myself and to say, yeah, you know, hey, I did the same thing. He is the governor. He is the governor, and he has to be out there also. And of course, at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to make those decisions. Now, am I absent? No. Do I need to be down at the quarantine sites with him every day? No, I don't. I would rather be up there working, and I've been working my butt off, okay, looking at policies and procedures that we need to follow with the FEMA disaster program. Because I'm going to tell you this, I don't think our governor knows how to handle policies and programs and even procedures of FEMA. And I was on top of the COVID task force, the disaster post U2 disaster team, making sure that we get our reimbursement from the federal government. And for him to say things like that is kind of nonsense. To me, it's childish. I mean, what other criticism does he have to level? You know, right now, at the end of the day, when we make an assessment and evaluation of the fiscal responsibilities of how we handle the disasters and post-disasters and all the resources that were given to us by the federal government, I hope that we follow the rules that we're supposed to. I mean, it is obvious in some findings that we're not able to get reimbursed because we didn't follow some of the fine prints on the regulations. And we continue to do that. Now, if he's going out there just for photo ops, just to meet an airplane, delivering masks and whatnot, and saying that I'm not there and I'm hiding, well, I'm not going to hide from him. Why would I hide? Why would I do that? But you know, obviously, he needs to come up with some criticism of me. That kind of displays a sense of immaturity on his part. But I'm not going to question that. You question that. Of course, he's out there pretending he's clearing roads after typhoon. He's not clearing roads. It's the mayor's men. Do I go out there and ask somebody to take a picture of me carrying a piece of pangantangan, clearing it off the road, or a coconut frond? No, I don't. I don't do that. I go to the shelters, deliver bottled water, go to the water station down here in Lower Bays, and help the other employees and government workers give the water containers and fill up water containers for people lined up for water. And I go to the shelters. I mean, if I gotta ask Thomas Manglona to please come with me back to the Cagman shelter every time I'm gonna go out there, you're gonna get tired of me, right? It's always been my personality and my characteristic to just get things done without a lot of fanfare. Now, if you think of doing things and then getting a picture of yourself and getting it on Marana's Variety online or putting it on KSP at 5 o'clock or being on KOAM, to me that's really nonsense.
Yeah, this question is for both LT and Mayor. Everywhere the governor goes and every time he speaks, they always talk about the accomplishment of his administration. Things that he's done, things that he money that he spent to and whatever. What is your comment on that?
And it's almost the same kind of question, but you know, this everything in government is implemented by a team, whether it's a public works driven type of projects, or it's a public health CHCC project, or whether it's OPD. We just had a groundbreaking down there. Is that his accomplishment? He needs to give credits to where credits are due. And those are the hardworking individuals that put the federal the proposals together, and then separated it right down to implementation. Those are not easy tasks. So you got to give credit to those individuals that pull this trigger. Just because you're the sitting governor does not mean that you're the one that's doing all this work. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's got a different style of leadership and different style of being given credit. But I, just like everybody else, everybody else, we quietly perform the work that we're responsible for and try our best to successfully complete the task, and the credits will come from completing that job and from people that deserve this. It's he had a ribbon cutting in San Jose, which has been flooded for years and years, and finally House of Representatives were able to secure enough funding with Northern Marianas Housing Corporation to get that thing done and address the flooding issue and repair those roads. The road wasn't even completed, but he just jumping out of his shoes to get his picture in the paper, cutting ribbon of a project that hasn't been completed. That's politics 101, and very childish and almost juvenile. But is he also taking the blame for all the failures of this administration? Do you see him going out there? No, it's not. He's hiding from those. And he's rationalizing, and he's probably blaming me. So, to me, I'm mature enough to understand this. And at a very young age, you don't glorify yourself when you accomplish something. There are many leaders, many individuals in this community that have accomplished so much for public service. And I've never asked to be recognized for anything, because people will recognize them eventually.
But Mayor, the governor said he has done a lot of things. What is your reaction to that?
Well, it depends. We have our own community projects in the mayor's office, and I can always say that we're doing what we're supposed to do for our people here on the island of Saipan. As far as beautification, we take care of our villages, road repairs and all the secondary roads. But it's not too responsive in giving us the funding that we need. We ask for funding for road repair, and instead of giving us funding, you veto it because I don't know, maybe political reasons and all that. They did that twice already, because it's for the mayor's office. Whenever I ask for money, it's for the people of Saipan, not for me. It's not for me personally, but it's for our people on this island. And we use the money down to the wire where it's supposed to be used properly for the benefit of our people of Saipan. I've been in this office as a mayor for almost 8 years now, and I'm sure that I did my part for our people. I committed myself when I first decided to pursue this office to provide service for our people in the community here. And I strongly believe that I did that part. And that's why I'm ready to continue on, because like I said during the campaign, that my heart still wants to continue to provide service for our community and for our people of the Commonwealth. Now that I'm running with the Lieutenant Governor for Lieutenant Governor's position. So we're committed, we commit ourselves. We could have just easily retired, like I said, but we're not that anxious, because we still have a lot of things to do in our Commonwealth. A lot of our people are suffering still that needs attention, and we're going to provide that. That's our goal, you know.
One of the things that really comes out is Dave and I have served in many capacities, several capacities, in not just in the executive branch, but as you well know, we served in the House of Representatives. Now, case in point, I mean, if you really want to look at successes and failures, go in and look at our legislative records, the two of us, and look at their legislative records, the two of them. Let's see what they look like in the first year when they were in the House of Representatives, or even in the first term, and even in the Senate. You know, I don't go out and say, hey, you know, in my first year of the when I was in the legislature, I, in a controversial way, raised the poker fee so that we could access that money to give to our children for college tuition. I didn't go out there and toot my horn about that, but that program itself has yielded over $40 million over the 20 year of sustainability, and continues to do that, and continues to provide access to our college students. What does he do? Toot his horn that said he donated $100,000 to the NMC Foundation. $100,000, and you say you donate? That's not your donation. That didn't come out of your pocket. That's public funds. So, you know, I mean, I've been very patient, really, and I think that interview, and I haven't watched the interview, but it's almost childish for me. But if he really wants to look at records, let's look at records and their accomplishment. A simple project that I was involved in was during the pandemic. Also, I was looking at projects that we could do while we're pretty much closed down, and that was, you know, the road projects. And now he's taking credits for these road projects that he had nothing to do with. Absolutely nothing to do. You know who had the airport road paved? I did. But I didn't say that because I created a highway task force to streamline these projects in a very simple way. It became controversial. I think some of you covered the public hearings, the CRM public hearings about the airport road, with some of the residents raised some of their concerns. We were able to sit down with them, with the stakeholders and the residents up there, and hear their concerns, and adjusted the project accordingly, and got it done in short order. No, those are, you know, simple. I didn't go on the front page and say, hey, this is my project, and I point these out. And the same with the mayor. We don't do that. I don't go out and do that. He's out there making video of Route 36 back there. He didn't even know what to do. When Black Construction put in a bid, and they were the sole bidders, it was $39 million, and there was not enough money to get that done, because there was no money. And it sat there for almost 2 years. Black Construction moved out because the project was not going to happen. I sat down with some engineers and said, you know, this is the resources that we have. These are the restraint. You know, what can we do to get this done? So we took a look at the costs, total costs of the project, and decided that the best path forward was to do it in phases. So that's why that bridge is being built now, because that's the most critical part of that road. You know, it's going to cost up to $17 million to just do that bridge, but it will be functional. Later on, with the phase 2 is going to be to pave on the north side and to pave south side. We got that done, and I never once go out there with my videographer, or I don't have one, by the way, in my office, and to get that done. You know, but I give credit to Federal Highway Office and Public Works and the Technical Service Division of Public Works and the engineers, you know, Mr. Bautista and Liz Balahaja for for looking for different revenue streams, because that project was stuck. But I didn't go out and say, you know, Sally, I want an interview with you because I want you to come out with us and take a photo or a video of us, you know, talking about it. It's just not in my nature to do that. We're on the verge of breaking ground for the second phase of Beach Road, less from Hopwood to Micro. That we're going to be facing all those projects, and one of the key components is to make sure that the drainage are intact, as well as relocation of some water line and sewer line, and we have to work with CUC, but that's been beaten out already, and who was sitting there with task force working once, twice a week, discussing the options and the challenges that we're gonna have. That I was. Did he give me credit? No. Obviously, I shouldn't expect any credit under the circumstances and the climate that we're in. But hey, it is what it is. He is what he is.
You know, heading into the runoff election, could you just tell us about, you know, what your strategies will be and what the next couple of weeks will look like for your team?
You wanna take a crack at it first?
No, actually, we started out, we want to put our team together, you know, again. Like this weekend, I think we're having a appreciation get-together. And we want to make sure that we re-energize our team to move forward. We've been calling a lot of our friends in the community and all that for help. We contact some people from Roga, our friends and families there in Tinian also. But we've been working. We want to continue what we've been doing, continue the community relation, and you know, through social media also. And like this morning, we met with the Congresswoman Sablan and Congresswoman Stapler. She came on last night on her, you know, pledge to 80. And we really appreciate that, and was very happy. Her speech last night was very emotional, and it really touches my heart also. And I'm glad that we're joining together for the good of the Commonwealth, our people here. Just like the Lieutenant Governor said, you know, the agenda that they have, their platform is pretty much the same to our agenda on our platform. We want to pursue the same issue in regards to this government. We need to work together and tackle the things that have been happening here in the Commonwealth. And they got some good ideas. We've spent about 3 hours this morning, 3 to 4 hours discussing issues and all that. And we're just waiting for them to come up with agreement, and we're gonna all sit down and sign the agreement to work together on behalf of our people of the Commonwealth. And I'm really looking forward to that. You know, I think working in unity for the betterment of our Commonwealth and the people is one of the best things for us. So I want to thank Tina and Leila for taking that initiative, you know, to join us. We've been working closely anyway throughout the campaign. You know, we have good relationship with them and the Democratic Party. You know, my mom was a hardcore Democrat back then. I had to change her mind when I decided to run as a Republican. So actually, she gave me a lot of hard time, you know. So I just took her to the campaign, and she became a Republican for a while. You know, but it's very encouraging to join Tina and Leila, you know, partner up with a Democrat and pursue our agenda for this runoff. It's time for us to change this government, the operation, to return the government back to the right owners, the people, the Commonwealth.
Could you possibly share some specifics of what you guys discussed this morning and the agreement that you will come to?
Well, just like we talked to, we answered Tom's, one of the things that we should be very concerned of is not just the post ARPA, funding, but we have this looming 2029 on the CW issues and the labor workforce training. And what are we doing? Leila has the two of them both have a very robust plan on that, and we're going to take a look at that particular issue, and because they really fleshed it out, and we're going to take a look at that, and that's one of the issues that we talked about is that, and even how we're going to, how do we right size this government, and how do we put the right people in the right positions to run the departments or agencies, and but there were several, those are really key, and some of the really pointed issues that they brought us, that we want to make sure that the people that we put in are qualified and have a lot of integrity to run, and also compassion. We are going to be working together, and that's one of the things that we're going to be doing going forward in this campaign, because this campaign is not just going to be our campaign anymore. We're including Tina and Leila's team to help in that regards. And I can tell you this: they have a very robust media team that put together a very attractive media, very strong, and so they're going to be helping us in that regards, as well as being able to articulate some of the programs that we're going to pursue. But yeah, we're going to do traditional, real hard work on the traditional outreach. We're also going to use the media, non-traditional, modern day approach to how to reach out to folks. At the end of the day, I think the looming personality, the personalities and the experience that we have will give us that edge. We're the two of us are humble individuals. We like to just get the work done and then talk about things later.
And LT, I just wanted to shift the conversation to perhaps the umbrella of election integrity. Democrats on the night of, I'm sure you've heard, one of the ballot boxes had to be pried open, cut open. We heard that they were taking issue with that. They're waiting for also OGA requests to come in. I know there's also some concern over the way absentee votes were handled in this election. So can you just comment overall on the integrity of the process?
I watched that. I watched the box, the lock being cut, and that has never in the history of elections has that ever happened. I've never seen that happen. And rightly so, the Democrats and even our team actually questioned them about that, and so they're going to be looking at that also. 160 votes. There was about 139 ballots supposedly in there, and it could have made a difference. It could have changed the outcome of Precinct 4 Congress. Okay. Obviously, with the gap between the two winning candidates in precinct 4, it's not going to make a difference. But if it was lower than 139 and I was a candidate, I would protest that. So that there's question on the integrity of how that, and I'm glad that the Democrats have asked for a complete review of that. That has never happened in our election history. Generally, yeah, there's a lot of folks who have been challenged of island voters, but and that's again, if I was a CNMI resident living off island, and I am fully and legally registered as a qualified individual in the official registry of the Election Commission, and I request for a ballot, and somebody questions me, and somebody asks the commission and challenge the validity or my eligibility, that shouldn't be the case, because I am legally registered in that, and so we shouldn't penalize individuals because they're living in Oregon or they're living in Guam and begin to question that, and that's the unfortunate part of challenges, is that the individual's eligibility is being questioned, and now he has to prove. The burden of proof now is shifted to the individual. It should be that supposedly anonymous person that challenged my eligibility to vote, that should have the burden of proof. And so those are the things that perhaps the Board of the Election Commission needs to take a look at in the future, and not wait to the 11th hour to disenfranchise an individual's right to vote in the Commonwealth.
And just a comment on the timing. Hopefully the runoff doesn't take 20 hours to count. But can you just comment on, I guess, the operations at CAC, and is your team going to address any concerns with CAC directly with regards to the pace of the count?
In the general election?
Yeah, that happened, and hopefully it doesn't
I
happen
don't-
again.
Probably not. I think they know what our concerns are, and I think everybody, the board of the Election Commission board, should know by now that people are concerned. Because they were right there, and thanks to you guys, the media coverage, that it's right there. Thanks to KSPN for the coverage. I mean, there's no room for error, but we sat there, everybody on the island, on the 3 islands, sat there waiting for results from 7 o'clock in the evening to 11 o'clock in the next day. That has never occurred. I mean, I remember when we had to manually count ballots. By 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, we know who won and who lost. This is unheard of with the technologies that we have today. This is unheard of, and it was a real anomaly, an unfortunate situation, not just for the public, but for the media and the candidates themselves. I hope. I don't think that because I think it's going to be manually counted. So now that the rules are going to change, it's not going to be a machine count. It's going to be manually counted. So now it's going to be accountabilities of the people that are going to count that and the people that are going to monitor it. And I hope that OPA and the Attorney General's office are on top of this to make sure that there's no question about the integrity of the election. There should never be one. I mean, it was a disaster, to put it mildly. and I'm just being honest about it. We didn't raise hell or high water about it initially. We raised our concern, and I've never experienced anything like it, and I don't think our community has in the past. Arnold, or anything, Sally?
Yeah.
We will work hard, and we will, again, you know, I want to thank you for covering, giving us the opportunity to speak to the public, and I hope that the people of the Commonwealth will see the differences. Dave and I don't go out and give you temporary relief during elections. We are stable, we're sustainable, we provide stable leadership, we have the experience to navigate challenges and problem issues in the government over the past in the Commonwealth, and that's the big difference. We're not glitz and glamours and glitz. We're going to provide stable leadership and efficient leadership to the Commonwealth. We want to thank the people for their support in these past elections, and even for supporting us throughout our political career. Thank you to Tina and Leila and the Democrats and other individuals out there who are independent-minded for calling us up and making commitments that they will support.
Sorry, just my very last question. The governor is calling for another debate, perhaps hosted by the chamber or NMC. Are you willing to debate him again? One or how many more times there is before
I'll
that?
debate him anytime, anywhere. You know, I mean, I don't want to even sound arrogant about it, but he's the one calling the debate. You know, you better be ready. But hey, you know, I'm a very, and I take public leadership very, very seriously, and I conduct myself in a very civil manner, and to personally and cavalierly call for a debate. Yeah, okay. But I don't think another debate will help them.
I just want to say something. I just want to say again, thank you to our people of the Commonwealth for supporting us in the general election. And I want to continue to ask them humbly to please continue to help us out on the runoff. We need their support. In order for us to change this government, it's got to come from our people of the Commonwealth. It takes the people to change the government. It takes them for us to return the government back to the people. So we're humbly asking our citizens of the Commonwealth to please help us out and let's do this change, because it is time to change this government. Give it back to you guys. We need an honest government, a good government. We want to make sure that our financials are in order, you know, and we'll present that to our people when we're in office. So thank you again for joining us this afternoon. Appreciate it.